you just I've got this guitar back. See the pots that were in it, they were really bad, and so was the switch. The switch was like a, where is it? Still sitting there. You know, it's like one of those old Yamaha Pacifica ones. So it was a bit scratchy, and the pots were really scratchy, and I tried putting contact and cleaning them, and they sort of made them a bit. They were getting better, and then my pal took his guitar away last week. And he's like, no, these pots are shite, and it's like going. So just had to replace them. I'll put a brand new CTS pot. Had some parts lying about. It's a CTS 250 in there. It's a Cache switch, which I really like. They're not actually that expensive. They're about a tenner, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of just a bit more metal, and it feels really good. Doesn't click, or it does click, but it's not a loud click. Well, that makes a difference. And then I put it back together again, and it's wired the other way from the other switch, so the switch was backwards, but I just couldn't cope with the tone pots were so scratchy. So these are just ones out of a parts box, but out of Squire or something like that, but they now work. Makes some difference actually having a smooth volume control. No crackle at all. Same with the switch. And the wee switch. Yeah, I'm still messing about with the Vox, trying with a different guitar. I did a lot of videos last night, yesterday, just of like, the up close ones of just various guitars that were lying about, so I'm going to put them out, but I'm trying to intersperse them with ones that are actually playing guitar. So this is the Fernandes early 90s thingy. It's not the Tempest, but it's the Tempest, it's a 90s one, that's a 70s one, Fujigen built, very similar build, not the same. This has got like a more modern, wider, more like a Charvel neck on it. That's a bit thin and a bit glossier. This is a bit more modern feeling, but it's also got 8s on it, which is making it very difficult to play. Got to play pure light fingered. So I'm just going in, I don't even know what channel I'm using. I'm using clean and green on the wee Vox. Thin strings. But I mean, the routing inside this was absolutely perfect, and those pots, I wonder if that was like a mistake, almost. They kind of look like the expensive ones at the top, as in they go through a bigger hole than the cheapy pots do, and they've got this sort of gold thing on the top, but when you actually go inside, they're just crackly and crap, like the wee small ones. It's not very often I put a pot that works at all in the bin, but they're just going in the bin because the crackle must be inherent in it. I had a very similar problem. It might even have been the same pots in my Aria Pro Rock device bass. Brilliant Japanese built bass, all down to the pots were just crap. Maybe they were fine when they were new, maybe they just didn't, they tried a slightly new design, like a new type of coating on the brushes or something, or used a different type of metal, which just doesn't last 10 years or doesn't last 30 years. Something like that, it's like a sort of total critical breakdown. It's not a bit dirty, you can quite often just fix a pot just by running it up and down a lot, and even better if you can scoosh it with contact cleaner, you can make it work. But I think this is maybe more than just dirt. I mean, the ones that, the bridge, the tone pots, I just doused them in pot switch cleaner, they're as good as new, and they're not. So it's kind of like the opposite of a Harley Benton. See the wiring in it. In all guitars you get now, you get like the full length of the pickup, and it's like it's got the wire all coiled up with like a tie wrap around it or something like that. And it's like this, all the wires are cut to length. So you see that like the earth wires going onto the back of the pot are like kind of all exactly the right length, all running like 3 together like that, whoop, and onto the pot. And it's the same with the ones that cut the pickup contacts are all just exactly the right length. It's been wired by a Japanese person. just a significantly better wiring job than I've seen in any other well, it's not really a modern guitar. I think he said it was 1991. This is not my Strat, but it's one of those Rotosound ones, so it does go away eventually. You can put WD-40 on it or talcum powder or something. There's ways of making it stop squeaking. This isn't my one, but it's just the same type. You would have thought it was that much really to get wrong with a Strat. You know, you don't want these bits to break, but I think one of them not finding some material that doesn't squeak might be an idea. Rotosound. But I mean, the Vox is doing awful well. I did sod all setting up, so I just turned it on, and it sounded good with these. I was doing well with the distortions yesterday, but today that clean's lovely. What does the next clean sound like? So we get Orange Valve. Maybe a little bit jangly. Spanky! That's not even the bridge pickup. This is the bridge pickup. Good for the 8s are good for the right, a bit ear piercing that one. What's the red one like? Oh, nothing like as powerful. Next one is a California clean. It goes to show, I mean, these presets you're sitting there hearing vast jumps in volume, and that last one was pure super spanky, but obviously you can just use the EQ to dial that down. This is giving you a sort of a starting point. There's no way you would guess that this was anything other than a Strat really playing it. Listen to it. Now, what's the next one? If you look at it at certain angles, it's cream. The guitar's cream and the hardware's white. That's quite cool. I wonder if you use the same paint code as they did when they made the Tempest. I'm not really sure. These pickups, I don't know, because it has the shitey pots in it, I don't know what the pickups are. They're fridge magnet ones, but I don't know whether it's one of those things. Is it worthwhile upgrading them? I don't know. I suppose it depends how much you like the guitar. They're definitely pokey enough. They're quite powerful, but I'm using an amp. I don't really know that much about. So I'll go back to clean. Just green clean. They sound fine there. I'm just not used to this amp. That's not too bright or anything. I'm going to suggest this is maybe a flatter radius than normal. Yeah, maybe not. I'm going to suggest that it's a 12, right? Obviously I'll be wrong. It'll be a 10, but I'm going to suggest it's a 12. Just because it seems quite flat, but that could be to do with the shape of the back of the neck. Well, I'm sometimes right. So 12-inch radius fingerboard. Which would explain. I was thinking my Tempest was a 7.25. I don't think it is. I think it's a 10. That's what's giving it that Charvelli, almost Gibson-y type, or maybe just modern. I mean, Fernandes knew what they were doing. I mean, they were making rock strats along with the best of Brad Gillis' Night Ranger guitars of Fernandes. But I don't really know much about Fernandes. I've got one bass, my purple Black Sabbath bass, a JPJ50. I even electrosetted out a thing on the back of the headstock so I can remember what the model was called. It's a JPJ50, pretty sure. And it's from it's 86 or 87. It's 86. It's a Matsumoku built guitar, but this I'm pretty sure is a Fujigen. Gotoh branded tuners. See, it is strange. It's like, why have these pots? Unless they're not cheap pots, it was just a bad idea, like I said earlier on. Why the cheap pots when you've gone to the effort of putting Gotoh tuners on it? Or is it because you can't see it? Or is it because people buy this and buy a set of DiMarzios to go in it anyway? I would definitely put these in the more powerful pickups, not as jangly. Let's kill the Vox, and I will tune it using my tuner. Can't really. Sometimes it's good to tune just using your own tuner. I'll go back into my usual amp. Because they're 8s, difficult to tune. I'm more like, because I had the strings off, so I was working the electric, so it's good to stretch in a wee bit. Basically the difference is just getting up that over that volume hump, and these things can make guitar. Just like it goes, that clean is not clean. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot it out against the Tempest, which I reckon is the same factory and all that, just many years earlier. Chances of this being in tune are slim to nothing. Strings aren't an ancient as well, but they're not 8s, so they're more likely to be 9s. So we'll see how we go on with that. I'm just wondering how similar the two sound. This doesn't have as nice tuners. The strings on this are very rusty. I'll give them a bit of a scrape with the fret. They're called fast fret. But I mean, these are so rusty, you can see it tearing chunks out of it. It's disgusting. Truly is. A lot of my guitars deserve to have electors on them and go. So I think these are more... Oh, there is no position 2, sorry. But I mean, some of that might be to do with this. It's got a maple neck on it as well, making it spankier. See, I mean, to me, it doesn't sound as they don't sound as powerful. These pickups. These are quite rare for this type of guitar. This is like the premium one, at the top of the range one, which has Alnico pickups, big pots, and a solid bridge on it. You do get, I think, a lot that are made like this, but they've got the cheaper hardware on them. I was not expecting it to have. I'm calling them Alnico because they don't have a fridge magnet on the back, basically. Whatever that means. It's got to be a really spanky, really dynamic that you kind of have to twank it to make it work. This is a much more vintagey neck profile. I'm going from that from my Photo Flame Japanese Strat, which is I can't remember, it's a 58 or a 62. It's got stamped in the back, so it's more that rather than a model. So it's probably actually thicker that way, but it feels more like a broom handle. But it's basically just a more modern version of this guitar. Better tuners on it. I think I prefer the maple neck. I don't know, it's like... Also got the correct... Well, it's not really a correct Fender shape. It's like, once you realise that Smurfy type bit there, which is too flat, once you notice that, you can spot this guitar or all the variations of it by having their bit of a sort of bulbous bit there, but kind of Fendery, but not really. I don't know. Is it just because I'm used to that because it's mine? I mean, I've not played it for months. Is it because it's got 9s on it? So it's got that going for it again. Actually, this definitely got a thicker neck, a wider fretboard, definitely more modern feeling. Yeah, definitely much fuller pickups. Definitely much more powerful when you've got the distortion on. I reckon these are giving you a more balanced output, like as in it's just kind of like in the middle of everything. so you could do other things with it, whereas the Tempest got like the old style pickups which do strat really well. This does strat really as well, but you can't really go into anything throaty or deep or metal because it's too twangy. This is just that mix thing a little bit more. It's got a bit more, I think, with the right modelling amp. I'm not using modelling amp, I'm using that, but with the right amp and stuff like that, I think this could fly. It might be better. Well, I would almost feel this is, it's kind of like the 91, as I said, I think it was 91, he said it was maybe 90, something like that. The 80s didn't really end until 1992. You still got mullets and shoulder pads and super strats until 1993 or 94 when Nirvana came out, and then you didn't get mullets and super strats anymore. This, I think, was just at the tail end of the super strat. Obviously, you still get super strats, but they were the main thing. I think this is when they start going back to, well, people are kind of going away a wee bit from the neon pink pointy headstock one. What if we just go back to making a strat, but we'll keep some of the shreddy things in it, like, so it's got the wide fretboard and the thin neck going that way, and it's the flat fretboard, so it is more of a shreddery type guitar, but it doesn't look, it's not a pointy neon pink with yellow dots on it, pointy headstock. Hey, I'm in Wasp thing. It's just a Strat, but it's got even the sound on it's pretty good as well. So, not super over jealous with this one because I've got a white Strat. If I didn't have a white Strat, I'd want this, definitely. Awesome machines, but again, I think rather than a price cutting, it's a different type of pot. Again, I think it might be something to do with a different construction. It just reminds me so much of that Aria rock bass I've got, the Diamond C, was it Rock Device? Because it's got the Gotoh tuners and the Gotoh pickups, and then it's got these pots that just are just like, they were like plastic. What the fuck are you doing? Like, they look like more like something at Hi-Fi or something, but just maybe, although they probably technically worked fine, maybe they're just not suited to 20 or 30 years of being hot, being cold, being wiggled about, being moved, being gigged, being sweated on, all that stuff, whereas a Hi-Fi doesn't really have to deal with that. It's sitting in, it's designed to sit in your living room, which is a pretty much constant temperature all the time and not get moved very much, whereas a guitar, totally, you obviously you have to move the guitar a lot, take it to gigs, take it to rehearsals, just physically picking up and rocking it. But I mean, I said, if you even just buy a wiring loom, I didn't actually get to the point of looking up because I found them on eBay. I think you could buy, I mean, it doesn't really cost that much more to get like the orange drop capacitor and all the fancy shite. That doesn't really make any difference. But I mean, if I was going to do it myself, I would just invest and get basically the big pots. I mean, real CTS pots were like $7.50 each. In that case, switch was a tenner, so you're talking $7.50, 15, 22, 30 odd quid, 40 odd quid if you're going to do it yourself just to swap it over. So I think you can probably just buy a wiring loom where all you've got to do is, you still have to learn to solder though, because you have to put the pickups onto the switch. So you still, whatever you do, you still get 6 wires. You get a hot and an earth from each pickup that has to go onto the switch, and then the earth have to go back in the pot, and then you've got the earth wire to put from the back of the guitar into it, or attach it to the claw at the back, or attach it there, and then you've got 2 wires to there. So you've still got, it's probably not worthwhile buying the kit unless it's only like £2 more, you know what I mean, than to just source all the parts and just wire it yourself. But I mean, that's if you can be bothered going for the CTS things. I don't have an issue with most modern. This is just too early. See, by the time you get to the 2000s, they just didn't really bother making crap parts anymore because it wasn't worth it. It's the same with, tuners and stuff like that. You don't really get, or pickups as well, you don't really get absolutely shit pickups anymore. Not like you used to get in the 90s, not in this particular guitar, but in the cheaper ones, your Marlin Sidewinders and all that. You don't get pickups like that anymore because in reality, if you're going to build pickups, if you've actually got the ability to build one that's like a Gibson PAF or like a DiMarzio Super Distortion, I'm talking 95%, 90% of the way there, then they're probably only 10 pence more to wind that than to try and make it cheaper. You know what I mean? They've got the recipe. So I found that a lot of the pickups I'm buying from China, I mean, they pretty much are what they look like. If it kind of looks like a DiMarzio Super Distortion, that's pretty much what you're getting. The Seymour Duncan Invaders are like that as well. If you see them, I've got them at my JPAX 42. The Bug has a Seymour Duncan Invader in it, and it's a recognisable sound that I recognised on that Stag Flying V with the exhaust pipes on it. I was playing the other day. That's now been stripped and painted. It had the Chinese Invader ones, and it's a similar vibe. Do you know what I mean? It's like they can just do it. So nowadays, even picking up, the cheapest set of pickups you can get from China, maybe not the cheapest ones, but you're talking about 10, 15 quid for a strat set, they're likely to be pretty flipping good. I've actually got a set I keep meaning to put in a bucky caster of like Invader style single coils. I think they were a 10 or 15 quid. It's just like, and they're red. So it's worth looking at. That's a big thing, I think, if you go back to even the early Squires, they were, or maybe not Squires much, but Epiphone definitely intentionally put crap pickups in Epiphones, like the ones you get in the Samick era, which are the best modern Epiphones. The pickups are just terrible, and I think, being the skeptic that I am, I think it's because, in all honesty, the build quality between the two, and I've had to deal with this for the last 25 years, between the, what's my 90, I can't remember what year, 92 was it, Gibson SG Special, the red one, sitting there, and my Epiphone. The Epiphone it's a better built guitar. I always had to deal with that. The Gibson sounded better because it's got the Gibson pickups in it, but that's because the Epiphone ones were intentionally terrible. I think so that people didn't go into the shop and go, oh, there's an Epiphone, 250 quid, Gibson 500, I'll try them both. Put pickups, those £10 each ones you get that are like Gibson 498s, whatever they'd be called. Put them in the Epiphone, and there's not really going to be that much difference. You're going to go, well, they both kind of sound the same, I'll just buy the cheap one. So they had to put ones in, so it's like, oh, it doesn't have the grunt of the Gibson, whereas you can totally get the grunt of that with modern pickups. Turned into a bit of a rant, and half an hour long. Woohoo! Rock on, like and subscribe, and I don't know whether this is going out tonight, depends, I've probably overran. In fact, I've got 10 minutes, so you will not be seeing this tonight. I'm going to a party. I'll assume this is going out tomorrow night. I'm going to a party tomorrow night, or a birthday party, which involve drinking and jamming.